All right, guys, we're back, and let's just round of applause. No one, guys, come on, guys, look, we're back. I did a second video. Like, I'm actually being somewhat consistent. There's no one back there. By the way, it's just me. But we're gonna talk a little bit about NBA free agency today. Now, I thought that free agency this year was gonna be a little bit more tame. Boy, was I wrong, because it is all popping off a little bit here. And I have a few specific signings that I want to talk about because I think some of these are really key to the landscape of the NBA. So we won't cover every signing, but there's 3 different ones that I want to talk about today. So what do some of these signings do to the landscape of the NBA? Let's talk about it. All right, the first one I want to talk about, and I think that this will end up being the biggest news coming out of free agency in 2024, is that Paul George has signed a deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, this to me is huge for the Sixers, because if there's one thing the Sixers needed, in my opinion, it was a big superstar to go alongside Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Those two, I believe, were never going to carry the Sixers to a championship. So signing someone like a Paul George, to me, is big for the team. Now, one big question that I think that everyone is going to have with the Philadelphia 76ers roster is injuries, because Joel Embiid has had his fair share of injuries, and so has Paul George. So I think the biggest thing in Philadelphia is, can those two superstars specifically stay healthy? Because if they can, I believe that they will contend in the Eastern Conference. To me, the East is somewhat wide open. Obviously, the Celtics are at the top right now, but I still think there's room for another team to come and make a splash. And if the Philadelphia 76ers will just stay healthy, I believe they could be the team to do it. So massive, massive signing for the Philadelphia 76ers, and getting Paul George was a huge get in my personal opinion. Another one I want to talk about is Klay Thompson signing a 3-year, $50 million deal to go to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, this to me is a perfect fit for Klay Thompson. I think that this is going to be amazing for him and his career. I think a lot of people expected him to go to the Clippers or the Lakers. I don't know. I think the Mavericks are perfect for him, and this is why I believe that. I think the Mavericks are a little bit of a younger team, and their biggest veteran on that team was almost Kyrie Irving in a way. And Kyrie, I believe, was drafted in the same year as Klay Thompson in 2011, has some playoff experience, obviously, won a championship in Cleveland. But I don't know, something about Klay Thompson just brings a veteran presence to the Mavericks that I truly believe that they needed. And alongside that, Klay Thompson brings a spot-up shooting to the Dallas Mavericks that they didn't really have. Luka, Kyrie, both great shooters, but they were more create their own shots off the dribble. Having a spot-up shooter to kick to in Klay Thompson is going to do wonders for the Dallas Mavericks, in my opinion. And they literally just got to the NBA Finals, and now making this signing for Klay Thompson is huge for them. But there's another team in the West that they didn't make a signing, but they made a trade for a superstar. And let's talk about them for a second. Now, this is a trade that I don't think enough people are talking about. The New Orleans Pelicans trading for Deonte Murray. I believe this is exactly what the New Orleans Pelicans needed. A true ball handler who can make plays. Now, CJ McCollum was their primary ball handler, but if you remember back in the days of Portland, CJ McCollum didn't play point guard, he played shooting guard, and Damian Lillard played point guard. To me, CJ McCollum is a more natural shooting guard, so bringing in someone like a Dejounte Murray who can handle the ball, but at the same time can make those plays, I think that's going to be amazing for the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, they did just lose their starting center in Jonas Valanciunas, but if they can just fill that void as center, then you have a lineup of Dejounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion, and a center. Or if you wanted to play small ball, move Zion to center, move Brandon Ingram down to the power forward spot, and start Herb Jones like you have been. There's a lot of different lineups that I think the New Orleans Pelicans could play around with that puts them in contention to be a real threat in the Western Conference. So, in my opinion, I think they've done better than anybody this offseason. Even though they haven't done a free agency signing, I think that trade for them is going to be awesome. And obviously, Dyson Daniels, young, up-and-coming player, I think he's going to be good for the Hawks. Larry Nance, just a good all-around player, good defensive player, and a good presence down low. But I don't think that is the equivalent of what Deonte Murray is going to bring to them. I think Deonte Murray is an X factor for the New Orleans Pelicans, and I think that he's really going to elevate them into playoff contention, personally. So for me, those are my 3 biggest moves in free agency / the offseason so far. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'll try to keep you guys updated with free agency, and if a superstar decides to take his talent somewhere, we'll come back and we'll talk about it.